Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103 GBFRocks.com. Alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, the Slap to My Nuts. Here is Jerry Valeri. What are you doing, Jer?
I'm the War Women's Champion.
It's another impression from Jerry Valeri. I can already tell. Who is Ronda Rousey?
You made me stutter. You got me. You made me stutter, pal.
Whoa. Is that where you want to start?
I couldn't get home this morning. I had the idea. I was on my show already. I couldn't get home and watch my TV again. And I couldn't find it on YouTube. I wanted to have that son of a bitch transcribed. I wanted to cut that Ronda Rousey promo so bad today. That was a GD train wreck. That was a horrible mess.
Boy, she was not ready for any resistance. You could tell. I was surprised it was so hot in there.
Her music hits and they're booing. So she's got the walk. This is where her inexperience comes in, because she has, from the top of the ramp to the ring, to decide, how am I going to play this? But when you're new and you're in the back and they haven't started booing you yet, they say, this is how you're going to play this. This is your script. She practices it. She's ready. She goes out. So the crowd tells her one thing, and she just goes ahead and tries to do her baby face smile shtick and just gets eaten alive. Alive, Rob.
It's so rare that people get to the point in pro wrestling that they have to acknowledge that they got shook. And the only times I can really think of it happening was the one time Cena shook Reigns.
But Reigns never admitted to being shook.
No, he kind of did, didn't he?
I mean, it was just clear. I think it was clear and obvious. And Cena basically said you got shook.
Okay.
But I've never seen someone break and be like, okay, you guys are getting me. You guys are killing me.
Just broke is a good way to say it. She got shook. You can't even say by Becky. It was by the audience.
The audience got her. And I don't know if you noticed the subtle things, the whole show. Couple things. If you go to the very beginning, Triple H, he does say Seth is going to make the decision at the end, and Becky's making her decision tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So I think they call an audible because Ronda's dying. I do. I don't think Becky was ever coming out last night. I could be completely wrong on that.
I disagree. I think you're off base there.
But they did also say that it was going to be an open challenge. And I think Ronda was supposed to issue an open challenge, and they saved her by just sending Bayley out.
That part may be correct. I don't know. I feel
like Bayley just came out and pulled her out of the mud. It never got to she was supposed to issue a challenge and then got to the old, I'm going to say something. No, I'm not. I'm going to say something. No, I'm not. And they just hit Bayley's music. I could just see him in the back. God damn it, pal. Hit the music.
Okay. I do think Bayley's music hit surprisingly early. That part I agree with. There's no way Becky Lynch went out without Ronda knowing it.
Okay. So did they just change their minds, or did Triple H misspeak, or was that just a swerve?
I think
we're going to find out.
Yeah, I think it was when, if they knew Becky was coming, it wouldn't be as hot as if they were surprised.
Got it. Okay. I can't listen. It was so bad. It was hard to tell what to work and what to shoot. She was just a mess.
By the way, this is just me spitballing. I know nothing.
Right. But I mean, you can make pretty good educated guesses. Like my educated guess that they sent Bayley out there about 2 minutes before they were supposed to, just to stop the bleeding.
Yes, there was probably a cue that they jumped in the back to stop the bleeding. That I do agree with. And
then the match, you could tell Ronda wasn't Ronda, because Ronda's never been great on the mic. And then at least when the bell rings, she's Ronda, and she's intense, and it's good. She was just discombobulated from the word go.
Here's the thing. When it happens with Roman, I love it. And I do like it when it happens in general. But Ronda, I do want to go on record. While I did love that it happens, she's doing a fine job, I feel like.
Well, she's in the hot spot for a new person, and everyone kind of forgets that she's new. I compare it a lot to, like, my daughter. We put so many responsibilities on her and sometimes forget that she's 11. And I'm like, how can you do something like this? Oh, you're not 20. That's why. Same thing with Ronda. It's like she's brand new to everything. She wasn't like an indie darling. She was a UFC monster.
It's totally different. You're right.
I do think she recovered at the end. I thought at the end with Becky, she did a very good job.
There was nothing Ronda should be proud of from last night, if you want I mean, except for getting the crowd that fired up.
It was a mess. But she didn't get the crowd that fired up. Becky did. Becky heated them up, and Becky's got everybody hot. Becky is gonna get cheers. I mean, she's like Stone Cold. They're positioning her like a heel, but she's getting all the face heat you'll ever get.
By the way, I want to let everybody know the way we're on track right now on January 29th, 2019. I am A-okay with that main eventing WrestleMania.
I am in. In fact, I'll be disappointed if it doesn't.
Well, I feel like they still have 2 months to damage this. is my only problem. They've got 2 pay-per-views and over 2 months worth of programming that they could do damage to this.
They could blow it. I think the writers today are taking a look at how they can protect Ronda a little better than they did last night.
The writers today are out there singing With My Baby Tonight with the talent. That's what the writers today are doing.
By the way, I want to jump to that. That was Road Dogg got a belly on him, didn't he? Road Dogg got big and fat.
It's funny because now he's the guy who's like apologizing for getting the crowd all riled up, chanting the S word. And, you know, you can tell he's the corporate guy when he's apologizing to everyone in the back and everything. And yeah, but I have to be honest with you. That was what I wanted on Sunday night. I wanted that at the Rumble, except for it was, you know, almost midnight by the time Jeff Jarrett came out. Right.
They finally gave us what they wanted, and they gave us another Jeff Jarrett guitar smash. Slap nuts. You think we're headed to a match between Elias and Jeff Jarrett? I'd be okay with that.
I'd also be okay with that. We all wanted it last year, if you remember. We were all talking about Elias has no place on the card. Last year, Jeff Jarrett went into the Hall of Fame. Several people brought up the possibility of a match. I wouldn't mind.
Still work.
I'm sorry, what?
I bet you Jarrett could still work a good match.
I'm sure he's fine. I mean, if they send Kurt Angle out there 4 times a year, they could send Jeff Jarrett out.
We'll get to Kurt Angle here in a little bit. But, and I think that a lot of praise needs to be given. How happy do you think Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson feel that, like, that With My Baby Tonight, I don't think that'd be so popular in 2019 if it wasn't for their podcast.
Disagree.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with me.
Okay. Well, I'll meet you halfway. That has definitely helped its popularity, but I think he still would have sung it at the Hall of Fame and would have sung it last night without the podcast.
You think?
Brett, Jerry, and John and I, we always joke about With My Baby Tonight.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, it was a big thing from the new generation, and it's so over the top goofy. I feel like, yeah, Bruce and Conrad haven't heard it, but I don't think that was written in because of the podcast either time. Also because of John's pet peeves, I now look at wrestlers in a different way, and now Pete Dunne bothers me because he doesn't wear knee pads. You need the knee. Otherwise, it just looks like he's undressing. He just looks nude, pal. Also, while we're kind of on a tangent, I want to welcome maybe some new viewers to the show today. Thank you. Who's new? Well, last video is on his way to 19,000 views. All because I got my nipple out. I do have to thank you for, I mean, you brought the viewers, and then there was a video. It's strange. There seems to be a trend whenever we cross that 5-figure threshold when it comes to viewers. It's like... It's not strange. It's always because it's about women's body parts. Yesterday's was Becky Lynch's nip slip at the Royal Rumble. Yep. Last week it was Sasha Banks' wardrobe malfunction. This is, I think, resetting the record that CM Punk sent with Paige's leaked sex tape, as well as Charlotte nude photo leak. I mean, that's really been, you can tell how many perverts there are on YouTube.
It's a ton of them. Although I was doing some research yesterday trying to find the Becky Lynch nip slip that's not going to ever surface. And, we're the first video that pops up on Google.
For real?
We were yesterday.
Pal. Well, hopefully. Well, look, I mean, we got a few thumbs up. Most of them were thumbs down. I'll take it.
Thumbs down, because they're looking for Becky Lynch's nipple, and they get these two dopes.
Well, for starters, if you're going to YouTube to find Becky Lynch's nipple, you're an idiot.
You're the dumbest in town.
Just seeking out Becky Lynch's nipple in the first place kind of makes you a pervert, but whatever, I'm one of you. And then the third thing is, we got several thumbs up and some comments talking about the stuff that we said in our video. So maybe some people liked it and wanted to stick around.
Here's the deal with the nip slip. It's like, I want to see Becky Lynch's nipple as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to fap to it. There's better stuff to fap to.
We don't say fap, Jer.
What do we say?
Well, after last week, you tell me.
I can't say fap.
I believe it was, quote, Becky Lynch's nipple makes you want to take a baseball bat to a ribeye steak.
I'm going to take a kendo stick to a pack of bratwurst. Is that better?
Thank you.
That's better. You're welcome. Sorry. FAP is so 2018.
No, well, I mean, listen, we have to, when we make something like this, we have to embrace it.
We have to embrace it. You're absolutely right.
You've changed the way I refer to touching myself.
Good. You got to beat it, pal.
You got to do it like that.
Go all Rocky on that side of beef. start hammering on it. Keep those hands up. You got to keep those hands up because you don't want to get hit in the face.
Oh God. So, first of all, we didn't even really give the overall assessment, but Raw stuff happened. I thought it was a good show. It
was busy, man. It was busy. It was what I wanted. It's not the Raw after Mania, but the Raw after Rumble is usually a lot of fun, and it was. I thought that Seth Rollins cut a great promo. I thought that it started pretty nice. Triple H didn't bother me in his spot, although he and Seth flip-flopped their relationship back and forth so many times I can't keep track. Is he a mentor or are they enemies? I don't even know at this point. Then I
would say Triple H was a little annoying to me. Wasn't necessary, I guess.
I like that Dean Ambrose got in Triple H's face, wondering if that's where we're going to head with Triple H and Dean.
It's possible. Have you been hearing the Dean Ambrose stuff?
I haven't. I didn't understand what happened. So he loses to Seth Rollins. It was a good match, better match than their one pay-per-view match. And then he's sitting in a chair, and then Nia Jax beats him up. I was like, oh, God almighty.
So word is Ambrose is all kinds of unhappy and is leaving after WrestleMania.
AEW, you think?
I don't think it really matters. Probably, I'm not sure, but just I mean, and I don't know how the WWE is responding. It's not like the days of yesterday where you want a release, you get a release. It's a little bit more. You signed.
But WWE doesn't want to just hand people over.
But right with Dean, unlike the Revival. I believe Dean's contract is up at Mania. So
he doesn't like how it's being used.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
I think the only thing that would keep him there and keep him traveling with the WWE would be to stay close to Renee. But if they can work it out without it, then
see, I'm wondering if it's a tool, maybe like a bargaining tool, only because. Man, I think Dean's being used decently. I mean, he's not a world champ, but he's a former champ, and he's very visible. The crowd's behind him. Like the Revival, I feel like has a better argument for this than Dean does.
Dean Ambrose, I think, is in a good spot.
Yeah,
he thinks he should be higher than he is, but I think he's in a very good spot. He's upper mid card. He's like a 10 o'clock anchor. That's good. That's a good place to be.
He's over. He's one of those guys that, not seeing him on a pay-per-view is weird. Like, that's a good spot to be in.
They're not kickoff showing him.
They're not misspelling his name like Zack Ryder.
Maybe that's how he changed it. Maybe he changed it.
Did you see that? Did you catch that?
I did.
I saw it online. I didn't notice it last night, but I saw it online.
Oh, my God.
Hey, explain something to me. I was actually
unhappy. It should be Kurt Angle.
Okay, why is that? Because he lost again?
I don't understand what they're using him for.
They're using him exactly like I told you they're going to use him. This is what they bring the legends back for.
I don't see him putting Baron Corbin over. I see it more of a burial than it's not
burial.
Working the way I think it's not working the way they want it to work.
I'm confused. I think it's working exactly like they want it to work.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
I don't think you like the way it's working, and I agree with you. Every time Angle's in the ring, I want him to win. But if you think about the investment that WWE has, they want these older guys to put over the younger guys.
But you don't want to have them do it to the point where when they lose, it's no big deal. Like Baron Corbin beating Kurt Angle doesn't matter because Kurt Angle lost the last couple times he's been in the ring and was decimated by Drew McIntyre. It doesn't make Baron Corbin look better than anybody.
So the thought about that is, hold on, I just had it. And then I was getting messaged and I wanted to handle it, but I don't need to worry about that one. Angle, when you have Angle, you already have the validation of a gold medalist. You still have the former world champion multi-time. You still have a famer. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like they still get their mileage out of having someone like Angle putting people over. And listen, I don't think anybody watching this likes Angle more than I do. And this is, while I agree they're taking it a little too far, like this is the second time he's lost to Balor on or Corbin on Raw. You know, yeah, a victory here and there might help things a bit. I still get fired up every time I see him come out in his singlet, though. Do you? Yeah, I do. Even if he's going to lose, he's still wrestling. And his weird glove makes him look like he has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle hand. Hey, whatever, man. Dude, watch his stuff from early 2000s and mid 2000s and make fun of his hand then. Listen, I'm not making fun of his hand. You and I have both said, I don't know if it's still for you, but my favorite WrestleMania match of all time was Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels. That's not my favorite WrestleMania match of all time, but it's amazing. And just for the record, that's a 5-star match. I have Kurt Angle at number 2 of all time. And by comparison, I have Shawn Michaels at number 3. That's how highly I think of Kurt Angle. Yeah, you think more highly than I do, but don't think that I think he's some kind of chump. I just think he's weird looking now. Oh, there's that. Let's see what else there is to talk about from Raw. Definitely stuff happened. I wouldn't call it a bad show last night. I'd call it a good show, I suppose. I liked Leo Rush calling Finn Balor a twerp. That was good. Hey, can you help me with something? Yeah, absolutely. And I was paying attention to Raw last night, but I remember seeing Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan on my screen. This was confusing to me. I wanted to bring it up when we got to it. Yeah. What did they do? So Triple H said at the end of the night, we have Daniel Bryan here and we have Brock Lesnar here. And Seth, you're going to make your decision. This is why I was very confused at the very end of Raw. It ended before I thought it was going to. They show Daniel Bryan's in the building with Eric Rowan. Oh, okay. So they're just kind of establishing that he's here. He's here. Daniel Bryan's here, so Seth can make his decision. Seth is either going after Bryan or going after Lesnar. So they show him in the back, and he says he's going out. He's gonna come out, and he and Rowan, and hints that like we, and then he changes it to I'm gonna destroy Seth Rollins. Insinuating there's a faction now. It's him and Rowan, and but then we never see him again. In fact, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out at the end, and I was waiting for then Daniel Bryan to come out, so then Seth would come out and make his decision. But they never brought Daniel out. Instead, Seth just comes out, bull rushes Brock Lesnar, and eats 37,000 F5s to end the show. So we see that Daniel Bryan's there. No, but that makes sense now. But he doesn't come out. Yeah. But why would he come out if he's choosing Brock? Right. Well, I thought they were going to bring them both out.
The way they said it.
Okay.
I like this way a little bit better, but I just thought it was going to be a very WWE contract signing type deal where you have the two champions in the ring and then Seth comes in and picks one. But they did it differently. It was still good. Interesting how it ended. I mean, it just ended with Seth making his pick and then his pick beating the living bejesus out of him.
But I thought it was effective, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So often we see Brock in there and not mix it up with somebody, not get his hands dirty. That wasn't last night.
Well, that's because Seth went right to him. I love that. I love Seth was hitting him and then hitting him in the stomach, and Brock sold it again. Look at Brock selling stuff.
Look, if by the end of the segment we're more excited to see them fight than they were when the segment started, it was effective. Yeah. And I thought it was effective last night. I don't have a whole lot to really bag on except for the Ronda, stuff last night.
I felt bad. I kind of felt bad for her.
Yeah, I know. And it's also, I do want to reiterate, she doesn't deserve it, but I love when it happens.
It's special because it's rare. Those performers, even if you go all the way down the card, all of them can handle the crowd. That's one of the first things they probably learn, or they can handle the crowd to a degree, at least. We've seen Titus O'Neil bobble and lose himself in a promo too, but that wasn't because of the crowd. That's just because his brain didn't work that day. but we've seen it. Like Elias and Kevin Owens in Seattle, they had that crowd so hot that I thought they were going to start a riot over the basketball team, and they handled it perfectly.
What was it? Was it the Supersonics?
Supersonics, and he just crushed them, and it was so good. Ronda wasn't ready. It's like nobody prepared her that they could boo you here.
I legitimately think that I, or the average person watching may have been able to handle that situation better.
Yeah, because I would have turned on the crowd. Well, but then I'm breaking script. I don't know what the WWE's rules are. I don't know what they tell her. I don't know if they tell her you have to say this.
Well, I really hope that that's the mentality that's going away with this fresh, turn, because that is not helping anybody. The scripting things, I don't think anyone from the boys to the fans, I think really anybody besides the writers are in favor of scripting.
It's harder to lose your place if you don't have a place. If you have an idea of what you want to say and you go out there and say it, now you run the risk of filibustering.
Sure.
But at the same time, cut a promo, pal. That should be a skill. You should have to know how to cut a promo.
So I have one more thing that I think is worth bringing up. Small thing, but a thing. Did you catch Mojo?
I did, but I was in the kitchen, so I only half caught it.
He was basically it was a very short, probably pre-recorded promo of he's talking to himself in a mirror saying that his only problem has been himself and he's got to fix the problem. And it seems like there's going to be some sort of rebirth / redesign / repackaging of Mojo Rawley. And I'm curious how you feel about that.
They've tried it a couple times. Short of him deciding to be a vegan, I don't think it's going to get over.
In the words of Jerry Valeri.
I'm telling you, if I was struggling on a roster right now, I would be wearing flannel to work today and eating nothing but tofu. I'd be like, put me with Daniel Bryan's faction. Let me be in this. At least the Miz Taraj got FaceTime.
Let me ask you one more important question, unless you have anything to sign off with, because I don't have much else to talk about. All things were solid from Raw. The Ronda thing we addressed. Is there anything else we need to hit on?
Absolutely not. We're good to go.
Then, as I sign out, I'm curious, if you're in Daniel Bryan's vegan stable, can you still take a baseball bat to a ribeye steak? Or what do you do?
Well, see, what you do is you get a soy burger. and you massage that thing.
Yeah.
You massage the soy, and you put some tofu in there and some almond milk, and you mix that all up. And then when you're done with all of the soy and the almond milk and the tofu and all of that stuff, and then you set it aside and you get yourself a nice round roast, and you start punching that thing like crazy because you can only deal with tofu for so long.
See,
before you go ahead and you take a baseball bat to some steaks. Woo!